Thank you for coming on the last day of Convergence. We have a lot of excitement in store for you, talking about how we can help you grow your business through the next generation ERP and the cloud capabilities that we are coming out with. My name is Srinivasan, General Manager for Dynamics AX. I run the platforms piece, and I'm super excited today to talk to you about the great innovation we're bringing forward with Microsoft Dynamics AX, and look forward to sharing a wealth of information today in the next hour or so. So that excitement, I just wanted to boil it in a few quotes that have come about. We've only been in public preview with the new release for about 2 weeks or so, a little less than 2 weeks. And as you can see, we're getting a lot of good press. And obviously, we're excited about the work, not only that we have done, our partners have been doing with us for the last, I would say, year or so. And some of our early customers have done amazing work in this regard. So all that is showing up in terms of feedback. Are you guys excited about seeing portions of Dynamics AX today? Okay, let's go. So now, before we get into the core of Dynamics AX, I just wanted to relate to a few things of why we embarked on the journey of creating certain features and capabilities. In traditional ERP, there's a set of challenges that organizations face. It's not only about the end state solution that you deploy. It's about adoption of the solution itself. It's how you can ease adoption of the different business processes with your end users, typically called as change management in the industry. You have different flavors of change management: people change management, process change management, organization change management. And oftentimes, the ERP product does not think about that particular area. You think about the solution, the product, the capabilities, and the features. Another challenge that is pretty common in the ERP industry, to the point that analysts talk about it quite often, it's data quality, data governance. It's how fast you can migrate data, or how easily can you migrate data. There's about some stats that say as many as 70 to 80% of all failed deployments are related to data issues. So data governance is a big challenge. And eventually, obviously, solution completeness, having the relevant business processes, having complete business processes, having the ability to deploy these business processes, they all add up as challenges. And what you will see in the next hour is not only have we focused on building a great product, we've also looked at fixing, providing capabilities for easing adoption, thinking about ways by which we can assure better data quality, better ways of migrating your data, easier ways of managing integration across a landscape of applications that you might have. I'd go back in time a little bit and talk about our innovation journey. For a number of you here, you've been with us since the beginning. And if you look at our beginning, we started in 2002 with Axapta 3.0. The first big Microsoft release was Dynamics AX4 in the 2006 timeframe, which was portions of re-platform to deliver better scale. With 2009, we brought out platform scale capabilities, started expanding our industry footprint, and we came out big with Dynamics AX 2012, built for industries. And a couple of years after we shipped Dynamics AX 2012, we started the whole journey of lifecycle services and starting to not only think about product, but also the consumption experience of the product. And now we are coming out with the new Microsoft Dynamics AX, which focuses on a beautiful journey in terms of a great product, the ability to land the product, consume the product, not only in the public cloud, eventually in the private cloud with capabilities around hybrid scenarios. So, and if you look at the ALM journey around consumption, our focus has been cradle to continuous life with our customers. Enabled through our partners, we allow for easy discovery of our solutions, not only our product, but solutions built by our partners, simplify known problems in the ERP business. Things like conference room pilots take a long period of time to hydrate. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you're able to hydrate an environment with your data, get a conference room pilot with a customer going in a couple of days instead of weeks? That's basically the aspirational capability set that we've brought forward with AX7. As you go beyond discovery into defining business processes, into defining the capability set, easing the whole burden of fit gap, thinking through the methodology that's required for the application lifecycle management capabilities, developing the solution itself, easing the burden of development in terms of configuration, in terms of data development, in terms of code development, and finally operating the system, harnessing the benefits for a business and bringing that ROI to customers. So that's basically how we have skinned AX7, and it's best said through the lens of one of my favorite customers. Let's roll video on Ombres Group very quickly, and let's see their business.
In the beginning, everything always starts the same way. From processes and materials, which we know by heart. But then, every time, we pretend that it's the first time. We listen to the molecules as if we had never done it before. We work as if we had just found out that for us, it all depends on details that the human eye cannot even see. We work every time, starting from each individual customer's request, from scratch for him. We are competing against ourselves. We are on the same team. We run on a track as wide as the thickness of a human hair, where only 1,000th of a millimeter makes the difference between being like everyone or being first. And in the end, there is no end. We continue to follow all the parts we create, to monitor their perfection, ready, if necessary, to pick up where we left off. Creating mechanical products is only our second job. The first is making sure that those products are the best, unsurpassed by anyone else.
Please join me in welcoming to stage our customer, Ombres Group, Antonio and Giacomo. Please come on stage. Thank you for being here, Antonio.
Thank you.
Giacomo, how are you?
Good, thank you.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And it's quite amazing to talk to a customer on stage, a customer using the product on a daily basis. So before we get into AX, it was amazing to see your business. Can you share a little more as to what you do, how you help change the world, the businesses you interact with, your customers?
First of all, as you can see, I have a young face, and the company is older than me, so I'm on the second generation. I'm the CEO. My dad passed away a couple of years ago, and I took the lead of this great group. What differentiates us really from the rest, as we said, we have a great non-negotiable value, and we come up with an acronym FIRST. And FIRST for us means really focus on the customer, innovation, respect, social responsibility, and teamwork. We embrace this value, and we're carrying on in everything we do. And for this reason, we became really the single source for many programs in the aerospace arena, primarily with the Boeing company. It's been a successful story, and we're trying to replicate this model right now also with Microsoft. This morning, I was sharing our experience that we've been always working with the airplane manufacturer and always been part in the co-designing of the hardware. So this time is the first time that we are co-designing the software together with Microsoft. So we try to differentiate really from the rest, and we are bringing our values in everything we do.
That's super nice, and we think of you as our family, our customer.
Thank you.
In the last few months, we've had our set of challenges, but I think we've done pretty well as a team together.
Yep.
So how does AX help in that differentiation you just talked about?
I mean, the idea was to have a type of ERP that could have been user-friendly, because when I remember I heard AX3, I started laughing, because at that time I really influenced the decision. But as soon as I influenced the decision, I said to management, "See you, because I'm leaving, I'm going for an MBA." And when I returned, the people were so excited about the product. And I saw that at the beginning could have been difficult to make the transition, but at the end, all the users are really pleased for the deliverables. And at the same time, this user-friendliness is helping us because we are reducing also our cost. So probably Giacomo will get better into the details because he's the specialist. But from, a managerial point of view, all managers that I talk with are very candid with me, and they give me honest feedback, and they said that the product is really suit the size of the company, because we are not so big. This year we're going to close at 160 million with 900 employees worldwide, 4 manufacturing sites, 1 R&D centers, and we're operating with the AX. And for us, it's a great successful story.
Okay. So Giacomo, let's talk about implementations.
Yes.
The journey itself that
journey
we went on together.
Yes.
Want to talk about it?
Yes, the journey started on last July when we had the occasion to participate in the workshop in Redmond, in which we had finally the occasion to take our hands on the system itself, to see how it works, or to understand what was in your mind while designing the new version. Then, starting from the end of July and the beginning of August, we finally got the first technical preview, and we started working on it by designing the processes, by getting used with the new tool set, which is quite wide, And then, in a few months, really, we were able to go live, went live on November 1st. So it's already 1 month. Yesterday was 1 month up and running, and was quite excited. We worked as a team really good. Us, the partner, Microsoft, we act as one, and that was really the added value of the project. It was an interesting thing.
And in terms of some of your favorite tools along the way in the project, did you cut corners? Did you use the tool set?
We had to approach the thing completely in a new way. Mm-hmm. We come from X4 right now, which is missing all the new tools that the X7 provide. Starting from LCS, that allows you to deploy and keep an eye on monitoring the system itself, to the Azure platform, which for us was a huge new thing, because we used to be the kind of company that used to keep data and system in-house for security reason, for also because of our business, because we are in aerospace, we have strict requirement on security, data, and this kind of stuff. And since now, until now, the cloud platform were not right for us. I mean, they didn't suit our needs. Mm-hmm. But the Azure platform now is it's okay for us, and we finally decided to do the step. The platform is mature enough to allow us to do so. And then a lot of more. I mean, it's really a huge thing. Starting from how you manage and move data, the new framework to do so. There are plenty improvements everywhere. I mean, we were able to do this project in really 3 months, basically, on a technical preview because of those tools. I mean, in the deployment, it takes hours, not days. The quality of the result is high every time. This is really something that you can count on and helps you a lot. The overall quality of the solution and the tools provided, even if it's a technical preview, because you have to remember the new Dynamics X is going to come out in 5-6 months, maybe maybe less. Sorry, in February, March, let's say. So we are two versions behind the final one, but it's already up and running. I mean, the users are happy, managers are happy. Our customer is happy, which is really good.
A big customer is a great customer.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Exactly.
And, that excites me to have customers like you on stage. You passed first phase. Obviously, there's more.
Yeah, I forgot to say that this was, let's define it, a pilot project, okay? Used to know the tools, to know the platform, to see what can we do with it. But since the day after the go live, basically it started at phase 2, which is the real deal for us. We are going to implement AX7 on the whole group, okay? And to do so, since we want to really change the way we work and we want to really use and take advantage of the possibility offered by the new platform, we decided to redesign, to rethink the way we work, okay? We are a company that have the lean manufacturing as its own objective, and to reach this, and we need a tool set that allows us to do so. So the next phase, which is officially being kicked off next week, but it actually already somehow started, it's to redesign completely our workflows, our processes. And we can do this to build, we want to do this to build a core model to spread all over our subsidiaries. This means that using LCS capabilities to make cross-process gap analysis and all this kind of stuff, we're able to design something that might really fit our needs. And this phase is going to take, the second phase, let's say, is going to take some time, yeah. But when we will be able to get our hands to the final version, we will start working on it. And
I just add on Giacomo's thoughts that, this morning I shared my comments with him. I said, we have a big responsibility because working together with Microsoft, we have an opportunity really to influence not just our subsidiary, but our community. And the community is a broad community. And we feel this sense of responsibility in all the activities we do, and also specific case, because this is a big challenge for us. So we never done it, but we believe that we have a great team. And I really thank you, Microsoft, for giving us this opportunity, like Boeing gave us the opportunity in 1987, really to become who we are right now, the world leader for making balls. Because we hope that with this trust that you gave us, we will, I can say, give you that important input so that a big, larger part of this community might have challenges today that might not have in the future.
And I want to thank you for the trust you put in us. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Giacomo.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. A big hand of applause for Ombres Group. Through thick and thin, they have been amazing partners for us, and I really appreciate what they've done. It goes a long way in a product when the quality of the product is influenced through customer interactions like we've had with Ombres Group. So a quick call out on, what is the new Microsoft Dynamics AX? It's an immersive experience through a set of workspaces, through activity hubs, in a sense, embedded real-time Power BI, rendered through an HTML5 browser experience, any device, anywhere experience, with embedded guided experiences. The whole idea of having a doc for help is kind of old school. So we've used the power of technology to really solve an industry problem in quite an amazing fashion. And then we have an integration platform that basically thinks through the myriad of integration challenges, data challenges that customers face to integrate the number of systems that they have. Application lifecycle management capabilities, like I talked about, cradle to continuous life, from inception, from that trial experience, taking the data from a trial experience when you're a prospect, making it available in a structured fashion for the implementation is an amazing thing. If a customer talks to a partner during their pre-sales exercise, provides a set of information, and that information is not available to the implementation team, that itself is not a good start. So how do you tap that metadata, that gem into the implementation project quite seamlessly? That's basically been some of our focus. Obviously, we're based off of AX 2012, which has comprehensive functionality. Needless to say, we are built for Azure, on Azure. Not only elastic scale capabilities, we use the SQL Azure service. We use pretty much every PaaS service available that a business application requires, all the way from securing, making our platform reliable, AD, load balancing capabilities on Azure, and basically the experience is one of a robust business application built to deliver mission-critical applications. The developer experience switches to using Visual Studio. So the beauty of Morphex has been embedded within Visual Studio, and you'll hear from countless partners and ISVs about the efficiencies they've gained in Visual Studio. Rather than us talk about it, please reach out and talk to your partners about what they see. Last but not the least, we've done work to enable the ability to stay current, the ability to take on the fast-paced innovation that you see in the market today. Keep our customers current, keep our partners and solutions current. So that's basically the continuous update theme. Now, I talked about 3 parts. I talked about solution completeness. Our investments have focused on the solution completeness vector, the change management abilities across the task guides, across the integration platform, capabilities that help you land these big problems in the market. And finally, the data governance. Having world-class data quality services that help you migrate a customer effectively, use the same code to manage integrations, use mechanisms, the same mechanisms to integrate with Office, goes a long way. Enabling an Office user to also be a productive ERP user is quite an amazing thing. And the data structure staying consistent between all these entry points, all these visualization capabilities is quite amazing. So what I want to talk about now is weave the different capabilities together through a set of demos. And I think it's best done through some role-playing. I'm going to invite Arif Qureshi on stage. He's one of our directors of PM for Dynamics AX. And what we're going to do is do some role-playing. I'm going to act prospect. He's going to be a partner. Both of us are not Microsoft for the next few minutes. We'll see how best we do this. So I'm a prospect, and I'm looking around for solutions. And let's just assume that I land in the Azure Gallery. And in the Azure Gallery, I find a whole myriad of solutions. There's a section for dynamic solutions among the 3,500 odd solutions. Let's assume that I'm interested in the manufacturing essentials. I come in here as a prospect, and I want to do a trial. It's very contemporary these days to want to do a trial. And what I'm going to do is initiate a partner-led trial, put in my information, and I just happen to put in all that information beforehand so that I don't have to type in front of you, and I request a trial experience. So now an email is hopefully sent off. Mr. Partner, what do you have for me?
So as a partner, I'm the one that published that solution to the Azure Marketplace. And so therefore, when somebody asks for a trial, I get the email. And what I do in that case is I'm going to create a LCS project for this prospect. And I've created one here called Contoso AX7 implementation. So we'll navigate to that. And in this LCS project, I've loaded my assets, so that would be any customizations or data projects that I have that I think are interesting for this trial. And I'm going to set up some environments. So I've set up a series of environments here. Some of them are stopped, some of them are deployed. And into these environments, I'm going to load my partner content and any other things that I do. And so drilling into this environment, which is a trial environment, you can see there's a login to trial experience URL. So after I've set everything up, I'm going to add the prospect to this project, which will then send an email to the prospect with an introduction. So Sri, can you take over and...
Okay. So I have received this mail, and what I'm going to do is click on the trial experience. I got added to the LCS project using my email address, and when I clicked on the trial experience, I get presented with this page. I realize I'm an IT manager. I'm not high up in the ranks in the distribution industry. I put in some demographic information for myself. I'm welcomed with a video. I'm not going to play it here. And then I'm interested in finding out what happens next. So there's some information on how to use guides. My interest is piqued a little further. It asked me to follow some instructions. Okay. Then it talks about dashboards and workspaces, navigation mechanisms. So that's quite interesting. And eventually it says, hey, how do you search through certain taxonomies? It interests me further. And eventually it says you can provide me feedback, which I love. As a prospect, I love to provide feedback on my trials. And then I get started. I'm going to hit start on this. One of the things, switching back from the prospect hat to Microsoft hat, what we are demoing to you today is all production. If Azure goes down, we won't have a demo. So pretty much everything that's being done here, for example, you would have seen in the page, there was a Western European deployment, and we basically connected to a deployment online. So I'm here, ready and available. Wow, it brings me to a logon screen. I see a getting started page. And I go very quickly into customers, because I want to look at all the customers that are available. And Mr. Partner, I just realized this is not my data. And I have my own data built on the laptop. I just emailed it to you. Sure. I'd like to do the trial on my own demo data, which is quite common for trials and conference room pilots to be done on a customer's data. So how about is that possible?
Sure. So yeah, so after I receive the data from the prospect, I have to integrate it into the trial. And the way that I do that is I create a data package. So what I'm showing you is a data package, which is essentially a zip file with a manifest embedded. And it has the data I got from the prospect, one of two of these things. And then it additionally has more data, which is my own asset, that I know that the prospect will need to run the business processes that he's asked about. So what I'm going to do is, after I create this data package, is go to the configuration and data manager and upload that data package into LCS. And so that one was CSR6. I've uploaded it already. It takes a minute for it to validate, so I did it beforehand. And once it's uploaded, I will apply it to an environment and a company that I've created. So the environment we're using for the trial is Contoso Demo V2, so I'll click that. And then the company I've created, because we already have demo data loaded in that environment, I've created a company to kind of house the data for this prospect. And that I've named the same as the data package, CSR6. And I'm going to apply, and at this point it starts applying the data, so I'm going to switch over to the product. And we can go look at the customers in CSR6. And they're currently empty, so I can now see what's going on, where's my data import. I'm going to go to the data management workspace. And I can see that there's a CSR6 project that's visible here, and an execution state for it, so we can drill into the project just to see what that's about. And it's got 14 data entities, a couple that I got from the prospect and a few more that I supplied myself. And each of these data entities has a mapping that I've done. In this case, it's automatic mapping because the names line up, but I could have done a mapping also that show how the prospect's data has been imported into AX. I can move back from here and go look at the execution project. And I can see it's still pending, so we'll kind of refresh this a bit, and hopefully it's going to...
So I can try it on CSR4 while...
Yeah, so after this data loads, we'll show it, but yeah, you can try on CSR4, which we loaded before.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is my data has been loaded, so let's quickly look at CSR4. We'll go back to CSR6 in a minute. And what I'm going to do is, recently I went to all customers. I look that my customers are created as it was in the spreadsheet that I showed. I'm quite thrilled about it. Now I want to know how to create a sales order, which is quite common in the distribution industry. I'm in the CSR4 company. I look at this interesting link that says getting started, create sales order. So I just click on it. So it starts a task guide. Wow, that's interesting. It's basically giving me a whole bunch of information. Looks like a document. So I'm going to click on that task guide. And it comes up with an interesting box that says, hey, you need to go to accounts receivables, navigate to all sales orders, which I shall dutifully do. So I go into all sales orders, and it asks me to click on new, which is brilliant because I wouldn't have known as a prospect how to navigate through the system. I do that. Obviously, I have to pick a customer. I'm going to pick Sunset Wholesale, one of my favorite customers. I love the fact that it's my customers and my data. I click OK. And it says, hey, you have to pick an item, obviously. So I pick one of the items that were loaded, the one item that I gave to this vendor. I hit save. And the task guide is complete, looks like. I refresh. I see the sales order that has just been created. So that's quite amazing. So this task guide looks like is a brilliant framework. How do I use this? Can I create my own? And can I use it to do other things?
Yes, you can, and I can show you that right after I show you the data load completing here. So we were doing this data load. It's in a partial state, and if I refresh again, then it's all completed.
And can you show me my customers by going to all customers?
Sure.
On CSR6?
So now if I go to all customers in CSR6, I see the stuff that the prospect sent over. And not only that, but I can also go, if there's some anomaly there, I can also go into the execution project and actually look at the data that was sent to me and, how that data was moved into the system. So it's a fairly complete system. So now getting back to the task guide, how do you actually create a task guide? basically the task guide is based on a new tool that we have. Actually, it's carrying forward a tool from AX 2012, but we've really enhanced it in AX 7, which is a task recorder. And the task recorder is very tightly integrated into the client so that it can record any interaction the user does with the browser client. So let me show you how to create a task recording, which can then be used as a task guide or for other purposes. So I bring up the task recorder. I have a few options here. So I'm going to create a recording, and I'm going to call it CSR6 sales order. And then start. So since the task recorder records whatever I do, at this point I'm just going to create a sales order. So I'm going to go to the sales order list page, and you can see it's recording the steps as I do them. Then I'm going to do new, and then pick the customer. And finally pick the item. So this is all the data that is in the context of the prospect. And I'm going to save and close. So you can see all the steps are recorded here. I'm going to do stop. And then at this point, I can save this task recording to LCS. I can export it as a Word document. I can play it as a task guide, but I'm going to save it as a developer recording. And basically, by saving it as a developer recording, it's saved as an XML file, and all my interactions are in here. So I can move this file to my developer box, and I'm kind of doing this, in the spirit of solution completeness, where I can create content that we can use for guiding the customer, and I can also create some tests. So what I'm going to show you next is creating some regression tests based on that task recording. So this is my developer environment. I'm just going to put that guide on the desktop. And then I have a Visual Studio project open, and I'm going to import. So we have a set of tools under the Dynamics AX menu. And in those tools, we have add-ins. So here we've created some add-ins, but this is an open framework where you guys can create add-ins as well. So we have one called Import Task Recording, and I'm going to load that CSR6 sales order. And so it loads it and immediately creates a test class. So this is a test case. We have a very strong testing framework in AX, and all the steps you can see, go to accounts receivable, click new, all those are recorded in the test. And not only that, but the test is immediately visible in the Visual Studio test framework.
Wow. So not only did you just create the task guide, which I can use for educating my users, I can also make it a test script.
Yes.
That's quite amazing. So can you show me, do you have other client forms other than the web experience? And how do I personalize a set of forms to what I need? I'd like to structure it the way I like it best.
Right. So again, in the spirit of having solution completeness, part of the solution is, give the functionality. The other part is to have the functionality kind of be personalized and tailored to what the user wants so that they're comfortable using the product. And for that, we have invested a lot in personalization in this release. So I'm going to go to the purchase requisitions list page just to show you guys personalization of the grid. And at the face of it, it's very simple. Any control on a form in AX can be personalized. So I can right-click, for example, on Prepare, and I have a new menu item, Personalized Prepare. So I can click that and change Prepare to Requisition Clerk, and you can see it changes right away on screen. I can move it around, so I can move it left, I can move it right and move it one more right. And there's no save, there's nothing. As soon as I click off, everything is personalized for me. These personalizations can be exported and shared. The other kind of cool personalization that we have is, let's say you want to see some data that's part of the schema but not put on the form by the developer of this form. So you can add fields, so I can personalize the grid, and then on that I have add a field capability. So I'm going to add the name field to this grid. And I actually have to reload this form to see that field, so it's going to show up at the end. So I'm just going to go back to my favorites and reload. And you can see the name field is now added, and I can do all the stuff I did before, where move it to where I want it to go. And finally, if I kind of made a mess of it and I want to start over, we have that capability as well. So you can go into options under personalize and then just say clear and reload this form, and everything is back to what it was. So personalization really is a key solution completeness experience for us.
How about other client forms? That's quite amazing in terms of personalizing the form to what I need.
Right. So beyond the browser client, we also have other experiences. So we're building a Windows 10 compatible universal app. So we're going to be part of the Windows 10 family of products. So I can start that. And in this Windows 10 app, you can link to multiple deployments. I have one demo site here that I can click on. And on the face of it, it's very similar to what you would see in the browser, but really it's a full rich app running on this Windows 10 device. So it has a lot more capabilities than what you would have just in a browser.
So one last question. I've heard a lot of, as a prospect, I've heard a lot about Cortana. Can I use Cortana for this client?
Sure. I mean, you can try Cortana with this Windows 10 client.
As a prospect, do you think I can? That's a little scary.
I know that you're a bit of a technophobe, but I think this will work for you.
Okay. Yeah. So let's give Cortana a shot. She can be pretty testy.
Hi there. What can I help you with?
Create a sales order. So what I'm going to do is walk the whole sales order creation screen. My hands are up here. And pretty much Cortana is going to do the work.
I'm preparing your sales order.
Quite good, right?
Which customer is this sales order for?
San Diego. So she does partial searches, and she'll pick the right customer.
Customer account US001 with name Contoso Retail San Diego. Is this the right one?
Yes.
Which item do you want to sell?
1,000.
Which site do you want to ship from?
Home speakers production. Requires a little bit of a type A personality.
I found site 1 with name Home Speakers Production. Is this the right one?
Yes. And there you go. She's going to confirm the sales order, hopefully.
Your task is completed. Congratulations. Is there something else I can help you with today?
No. I'm a rude person. Yeah, what can I say? So let's look at how this works very quickly. I'm going to switch back to my Microsoft Waze. If you can see what I'm saying is being captured. Thank you for looking at Cortana, and you should see that coming up here soon. So basically, there's a set of services that work in the back, pick up all the tags, attach it to the task guide, use that intelligence to basically work the whole system. So a myriad of opportunities comes out with this. I'm so thrilled as a prospect, I've signed on as a customer.
Right.
And I'm on using the system. I'd love to understand usage patterns. So how about we get Umbra back to see their production usage?
Sure. Yeah, Giacomo, if you can come
Giacomo,
back.
if you can come on.
So AX, like any contemporary cloud service, is instrumented, and we log usage data. Microsoft will use an anonymized version of the usage data to track problems proactively, to look at issues and report issues proactively to the customer and proactively fix them. The raw usage data is provided to the customer, so Microsoft doesn't see that for privacy reasons, but the customer does. And Giacomo is going to show you how they use that data.
Yeah. For example, this is the dashboard, the standard dashboard for the environment monitoring. As you can see, the first part is related to the load over SQL, the AOSs, BIs, and everything. And you can see in the last 15 minutes, as you can notice from this one, in the last 15 minutes, this is what happened in Germany, in our plant. Here you can see how any user is loading the system. So AOS 1, AOS 2, BI, what's doing it. The management reporter, for example, is doing something now. And the activity load, so which kind of activity happened. This, of course, is the kind of interface that you can drill down and select and adjust the result depending on what you select to. In here you can see also the user activity and the detail of the user activity, but the level of detail is important because in here you can see the object, the control, and what it did. You have the exact story of what you have done. If you have to reproduce an issue, you don't even have to ask him. I mean, we have it already. With the raw data, you can use the raw data as a source for Power BI, for your analysis, your KPIs, your alarms, whatever. You can see more details about this. But the funniest thing is, because this is on Azure, so it's not the database log in your house, which you can only access. Microsoft also proactively monitor your system, if you want to, of course. And this is amazing because it happened for real one time. They catch an error we didn't realize yet, and we got the fix before we realized we got a problem. And this is amazing. I mean, this is something completely new for us. And thanks to these tools, which have real good potential.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Giacomo.
Yeah,
Thank you, Arif. And a round of applause for these guys for amazing demos today. So it's just an honor to bring together a complete set of capabilities to you. I just want to summarize and talk about how we address these challenges, and we've taken these challenges and made it opportunities for us. The whole challenge of having a complete solution, we made that easy. We made, outside of the application confines, the ability for you to build a regression suite, the ability for you to manage regressions on an ongoing basis, the ability for you to keep data packages that you can move from production to test, partial data, and also to point test to a different configuration than production. You surely don't want to print checks from payroll in a test system because you made a mistake in configuration. So we take care of those small details in terms of the types of problems that you end up hitting as an organization, as a true business out there. The change management aspects, the ability for your end user to not refer to a binder, but actually do the production transaction using the guide, through the guided experience, is quite amazing. And Cortana brings a set of opportunities for us, wherein if an end user deviates from the standard flow of doing a transaction, you have the possibility of having Cortana wake up and say, hey, did you really mean to do this? In a nice voice, or in the CEO's voice, potentially. So you can do those kind of things, right? So it's quite amazing that business is transforming I was talking to a customer about these capabilities. He said, I thought this was sci-fi 10 years back. So that's the level of capability set that's being brought into an ERP system. ERP systems are not supposed to be this sexy. So we're quite proud about bringing these capabilities to you. How are these deployments going to work for you on Azure? So traditionally, if you look at deployments on-premise, there's obviously the software from the vendor, the dependent software that's required to run the system, the infrastructure to run it on, a set of IT capabilities that I'm calling as managed services here, and obviously our partner ecosystem to do the implementation of the product itself. When AX7, our plans with AX7 is obviously a single user-based subscription for software, infrastructure, and cloud tooling. So obviously these two get bucketed into the infrastructure, into the subscription. We also add in a set of tooling, set of people capabilities to manage your deployment. You saw some of the cool tools that are coming out. Intelligent telemetry, controlled by the customer. Very important to emphasize how much we have put in to make sure your data is managed by you, your instance is managed by you, and you basically invite people with roles and responsibilities to act in a responsible fashion with your business processes and your data. It requires collaborative capabilities that we've brought together so that in a structured fashion a customer can bring their partner and Microsoft to the table where they need to make themselves successful. So there's going to be a set of managed services our partners provide for instance management and health, and obviously LCS-based tooling provided to our implementation partners to basically do better, repeatable implementations on an ongoing basis. That's basically the story of how the customer journey will evolve with the new Microsoft Dynamics AX. And being a techno geek, I think that's what RF called me. No session of mine is complete without an architecture slide. So let's just walk through the details of what the AX7 architecture is in its very simplest form. That's basically these concentric circles. Now let's get into the detail. So at the heart of it is Azure AD. That basically is the building blocks for security. Data is the building block for information, and data is surfaced through the power of a PaaS service, Azure SQL, blob storage, DocumentDB, Power BI, reporting services. AX sits on top of these capabilities using Azure Compute. It's telemetry enabled, like you saw. I'm sorry for the shake there. And basically, it uses the AX app itself is now broken up into different parts: workspaces, app suite, application foundation. The platform is independent by itself, and you have a rich universal app enabled HTML5 web client. We have iOS and Android on the side. We're going to start with the Windows ecosystem, and the other platforms will be a fast follow. Folks on the back, we've lost the projector. Thank you. That projector requires an IoT device in my mind with a telemetry system on it. Didn't want to lose that opportunity. So that's for the cloud platform. And obviously, we have integration capabilities. Last but not the least, lifecycle services. And if you look at this cloud platform, this cloud platform also becomes your cloud parity on-premise platform. So I've just switched the slide. Two parts in blue are the ones that will have variants for getting into on-premise. And the way we do on-premise very quickly is take this stack that we have built for the cloud and bring it on-premise through the Azure Stack. That's basically how simple we are building the on-premise capability set. With Windows Server 2016, with SQL Server 2016, and the Azure Stack, we basically use one single code base to provide both the public cloud as well as the on-premise capabilities. The on-premise capabilities set gives us, both of these together, give us a lot of hybrid possibilities. An on-premise customer can use Power BI on the cloud, as a simple example. They can use Blob Store on the cloud. They can use DW, data warehouse on the cloud, use hundreds of compute nodes at a small price point when they need it, and not have to have these nodes available all the time. So lots of capabilities of this sort coming together. We're super excited about the on-premise capabilities that are a fast follow to the new Microsoft Dynamics AX. And the partners in the room, a big thank you from Microsoft. You have spent 8 to 9 months with us. This is about the first release where we have worked with partners as a team to bring their solutions forward. And a number of these solutions are in process as we speak. Not only are we bringing these solutions forward, they're being curated for quality in LCS. They become available in Azure Gallery. And a number of these solutions are already available as solutions. You'll see their logos in the hallways. We thank these partners, and we look forward to having all these solutions available quickly in the next few months as we make the AX widely available. A couple of things. How do I prepare for the journey on AX? Deployment options. The Q1 release next year is public cloud new deployments only. So when I say new deployments, it's new customers, existing customers doing new implementations. You're welcome. It's an amazing app. Please come on board. It's available in 16 countries at the start. We have an AX technical conference coming up for customers, partners, and our field in February 2016 in Redmond. And it's a functional and a technical event. There's going to be close to 88 sessions in a 3-day event run by R&D program managers. So the people who design the system are going to be there training you, talking to you about capability set. We'll repeat that again in the fall timeframe. We follow with an update to the first release, bringing the on-premise capabilities, adding more countries, adding upgrade for our existing customers. Not only are we thinking about AX 2012, but also thinking about AX 2009. And last but not the least, you have immense learning opportunities as an existing customer today by logging on to LCS, provisioning an environment. There are learning methodologies that walk you through how to take on Microsoft Dynamics AX. With that, I thank you for joining us today. And I can, if we are not out of time, I can take 1 or 2 questions. Maybe 1 question, and then I'll be there on the side to answer any more questions. If not, thank you. Have a good conference.